Hi there. I thought I would do a video and talk about my course, which launched last week. I'm very excited about it. I did my training a bit over 2 years ago now, and I registered my business in July 2023, and I did a course similar style to this in that I did it from home through the Doula Academy of Australia. And I enjoyed my course. I enjoyed the content. I enjoyed reading the content, reading the books, and learning about postpartum work. But my favourite part, funnily enough, of that course was the one single page that outlined the steps that I needed to take to start my business. I got really excited and fired up about that. So 2 years later, launching my own course. The reason that I'm launching my own course is because I feel like I've learnt a lot along the way about being a postpartum doula and what it means to me and how I run my business. The course that I did, it had a lot of information about how to support families, but perhaps the way that I run my business is a little different. My support varies a little bit more, I would say, and I've learnt a lot about running my business, getting clients, keeping clients, getting the word out there. So, and the other reason, since starting my business, I've had, I say, about 20 people contact me, I think at least, contact me via email or DM me on Instagram and say to me, I really want to do what you're doing. I've wanted to do something like that. I didn't know that this existed. How do I do it? What did you do? How did you start your business? How do I do it? And I've had coffee in my home, at coffee shops, and met up with these beautiful women and told them what I did. I told them about my journey, and tried to help them as much as I can. And that's been really lovely, but it doesn't feel enough. I'm literally just sitting there word vomiting everything that I've learnt, that I know, and they're, fiercely jotting down notes and off they go. And it didn't feel like enough. So I'd been thinking about it for some time, thinking about doing a course myself, and finally got my butt into gear. Pretty busy as a mum of four, and with my very busy business, I'm fully booked 6 to 7 months in advance all the time, which is phenomenal and just quite mind-boggling, to be honest. But yeah, finally got my bum into gear and created my beautiful course. And every time I look through the content, I get really excited and fired up about it, because it's just, I don't know, I just feel like it's awesome. I wish that when I started, I could have just grabbed this and ran with it. So thought I would talk a little bit about my course. You can get the hard copy and do it this way, but there's a cheaper option, and it's just doing it online, and the content's exactly the same. So you just get a digital copy and you work through it that way. Either or, whatever floats your boat. So to talk a little bit about my course, I've broken it into 11 modules, and it's step by step. So we start with talking about business planning, really just getting a good idea from yourself as a postpartum doula, what that looks like for you, what you feel like it will look like, get you to start thinking about your goals and what it means to you, what you want your business to look like. And I talk about and explain how to register your business name, get an ABN, how to start a website and your insurance, bank accounts, all these sorts of things. And I really break it down for you. Module 2, we're talking about building your brand and your presence. So Instagram, social media, whether it's business cards, getting testimonials, feedback, all of that stuff, building a website. Again, I really break it down for you. Everything that I have learnt, the systems and processes that I use on a day-to-day basis. Module 3, systems, tools and admin. So I worked for many years in hotels, managing hotels, learned a lot about, sounds really dumb, but if you're not in that world, it doesn't mean anything to you, but managing an inbox. As basic as that is for some people, other people, if you've never worked in admin, you don't know necessarily how to manage an inbox. So managing your inbox and recording all the information. So recording information from your clients, tracking all of the information, how to create a contract, intake forms, all that sort of stuff. And I literally give you my templates so that you can look at them and go, okay, I want to do exactly that, or right, I get that, but I want to make it my way. That's the terms and conditions on that on exactly what I would want for my business. But it gives you a good idea of what you can put in your contract, in your client intake forms, all of those sorts of things. Talks about meet and greets and how to meet a client and have a conversation. What should that look like? Are you going to charge? How long are they going to go for? All of that sort of thing. So I really break it down. Module 4 is about personal sustainability in business, really important. Preventing burnout. It's a lesson I learned pretty hardcore in the first 12 months. So the first 4 modules are big and they're all business stuff. Most of the other courses available to become a postpartum doula, it teaches you how to be a postpartum doula, which is awesome, but it doesn't teach you how to run a business. And you can be an epic postpartum doula, but if you don't know how to run a business, you're not going to have clients, and you need clients. So I really believe the most important thing you need to learn is how to run your business, how to get clients, how to get the word out there. I know that people want our service. I know that. I know that they want to book postpartum doulas. They just don't know we exist. So my mission, to get the word out there that postpartum doulas exist. There is a service like us and it's epic and you need it. So again, that's why a big portion, pretty much 50% of my course is about running your business, getting clients, and just keeping it running smoothly. And then we go into postpartum support skills. So understanding what postpartum care is. I talk about a typical day in the life of a postpartum doula and really break that down, matrix sense and what that means. And then things like why newborns cry. Because if you're coming into this work and you're not a mum and you've not worked in childcare or whatever, this is the kind of stuff you need to learn. Also, it's really good just as a refresher. Sometimes it might be, I've heard of, I know that there are grandmothers that want to do this kind of work, beautiful, loving, caring, nurturing women. But a lot of this stuff has changed since they had their baby. So it's just a bit of a refresher. It's Australian information. It's up to date, 2025 information. It's not international. It's not American. So it's not going to be suitable for necessarily for someone in America. It's Australian, which I think is really important. And then module 6, nutrition and healing. So I give recipe suggestions. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I love to cook. And it talks about food that is good for healing. So really breaking down what are the key ingredients that are awesome for our bodies for healing purposes. Food sensitivity talks about creating a meal plan, or a meal train rather. And then module 7, newborn care basics. So again, just all of that newborn stuff. It might be a refresher. It might be new to you, but I think it's really important because it's the kind of stuff that parents are going to ask you on a regular basis. And it's good for you to have that fresh in your mind. Feeding support. So talking through everything to do with breastfeeding, mastitis, pumping, storing breast milk. And again, up-to-date information because that changed this year. So up-to-date formula feeding, pace feeding, breastfeeding preparation course, and all of that information. Then we go into module 9, parental wellbeing and relationships. So I talk a lot about creating a relationship plan for parents. Really important for parents to just have a plan going into their postpartum, and talking through all of that. In terms of wellbeing, the importance of a pelvic floor physio or a women's health physio, talks about postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression and baby blues, and just outlining the differences between all of those. My course that I did went heavily into all of those things, and I really went into postpartum support thinking that's what I'm going to see on the day-to-day basis. I'm going to see people who have postpartum depression, and that's why they have me. The funny thing is, if they have a postpartum doula, they're highly unlikely to suffer from any of those things, because our support is so awesome. We get to be there and support them. They get to talk to us, and that does wonders for a family, does wonders for a mother. So you'll be surprised. I was surprised. I learned so much about it, and I probably had one client that I've been a bit worried about, and then give it a couple of weeks and we're good. Like, they just, support means so much, and it really can help avoid all of these things. So, however, that being said, I do talk about how to recognize that in our clients, where to offer support and what it looks like, and just how to support and see all of that, recognize that. Talks about how dads get postnatal depression as well, and active listening, what that looks like. I give examples of excellent questions to ask your clients. I talk about foot spas and how I offer that and what that looks like for me. And then safety, resources, practicalities, so first aid courses and how to register a baby with Medicare and things like that, because again, that's information that parents are going to ask you, and information that I think it's really handy for you to have and understand. And then last module is just reflection and next steps. So with each module, I've broken it down, so you will get questions for each module to really reflect and help hone that in, and then kind of like a task list. So I cover what your learning outcomes are, and then at the end there's kind of a bit of a, like I said, like a bit of a task list. I'm just trying to find an example. Of course, you can never find it when you're trying to look for it. Here we go. Yeah. So action tasks and checklists. So kind of just like you've learned all this information through that module, but then it's like you get sometimes, well, I know with me, with my learning, I get to the end and be like, what did I just learn? What am I supposed to be doing? What am I doing now? So really just breaking it down by topic as well. So you kind of get to the end and you go, okay, I have a plan. I know what I need to do. I need to do this, and this, whether it's setting up your short-term goals, your long-term goals. What does your business look like? All right, I need to register my business ABN, blah, 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 blah. And then reflection and self-assessment for each module. So really just breaking it down and making it super simple, step by step. And then at the end, lots of questions to make sure that you really understand the content, really understand what you've learned. Also just to help you to remember what you've learned. So 11 modules, finishing with questions. It gives you a really good opportunity to reflect on what you've learned and really think about your business, what you want your business to look like, what you want it to do for you and your family. For me, this business works around my family. We're a really unique family in that we're a blended family. We have kids some weeks and less kids the other weeks. Lots of school runs, 4 kids in 4 different schools. We need lots of flexibility. So for me, this work allows me to be the mum that I want to be. So that being said, it's really important that you have a really good understanding of going into this. What do you want it to do for you? What do you want your business to look like for you? Because that helps you to answer a lot of questions and helps you to understand your values, helps you to work out what kind of packages you're going to do, what kind of hours you're going to work, and what your support's going to look like. So, yeah. I'm really proud of it, and I know that people are going to love it. I know that they're going to get to the end of this, be so pumped to start their business and just start smashing their goals and be as proud as their business as I am of mine. I'm so proud of what I've achieved so far and can't wait to see where it goes in the future. I just want more postpartum doulas in Australia out there helping families, because I know that families need our support. I have a link. I have it on my website. I have a link on my Instagram page. So if you're interested in my course, shout out, send me a DM, send me an email, or just jump on and have a read about it. But you're like, that just explains it really well.